Hello, everybody, and welcome to The Backlash. I'm your host, David J. Riley. Thank you for tuning in tonight, February 25th. It's 8 o'clock p.m. on the East Coast. It's 5:03 here in North Idaho. Thank you so much for joining us today. Please make sure that you like this video, share this video, subscribe to all of our platforms, like over here on X at Real Backlash. Make sure you are aware that you can get all of our updates at thebacklash.net. You can support this podcast at subscribestar.com/thebacklash, patreon.com/thebacklash, and you can find all of our platforms on our website at thebacklash.net/subscribe. Make sure you smash the like button over on Rumble at Backlash Podcast and over on YouTube at Real Backlash. Wait, oh, what's going on? I don't want that on my YouTube video. What's going on here? Sorry about that. Here it is. Here's the Backlash channel. That's safe, I think, for YouTube. So make sure that you are following us across all of our platforms, that you're liking and sharing all of these videos. It really does help us out a lot. Thank you so much for tuning in this evening. We've got a lot of really interesting, wild stories for you tonight. I think we're going to start out with a little bit of the State of the Union. Not too much there, but we'll talk about the State of the Union address a little bit. Then, I've been talking about it for the past couple days. There have been some developments. There was a terrorist attack here in Idaho, down in Meridian. Some deranged lesbian leftist lunatic hijacked an ambulance and drove it into a ICE facility. So we'll be covering all of that and what's been going on in Idaho. And then up third, we're going to talk a little bit about this stuff that's been going on X. This guy, Tyler Oliveira, have you been seeing his posts? He's been going into Jewish communities across the country and filming them and kind of bringing to light a little bit of what is actually going on the ground. Kind of in the same way that we saw with the Somalian fraud over in Minnesota. This guy, Tyler, is going around places like Kiryas Joel and Lakewood, New Jersey, and it's pretty unbelievable when you start to see some of the clips and watch these videos. It's just, I can't believe it. But anyway, we'll get into that. You'll see what I'm talking about when I start playing you some of these clips. It's just unbelievable. But before we get too far along, got some housekeeping to do. First of all, I have to tell you about our wonderful sponsors that help make this podcast possible. Up first, number one, what do they keep doing with their website, man? odggsupply.com. I swear, their banner image changes like every day, every other day. This is wild. But they have got all kinds of stuff that you could possibly need, from night vision to blankets to tactical gear, everything you need to be equipped in a crazy situation, which it seems like more and more of is happening in this country. You don't want to be caught unprepared, so visit odggsupply.com. Also, our friends at Above Time Coffee. There we go. Thank you, Elon, for blessing me with internet today. Above Time Coffee Roasters, they make premium, hand-roasted, fair trade coffee. You can get at them at abovetimecoffee.com. I've been drinking the New England Light Roast. It is incredible coffee at Above Time Coffee. And if you use promo code Backlash10, you will get 10% off of your order. Also, makes it easy. Remember, Backlash 10, that also works over at Antelope Hill Publishing. They're fighting to keep history alive and bring a huge portion of knowledge and previously untranslated works to market. So visit antelopehillpublishing.com. We'll talk more about them later. Idaho Tallow Company, they make soap and skincare products that won't turn you gay. So if you're concerned about endocrine disruptors or what you're putting in your family's bodies, check out idahotallow.com. They've got free shipping on orders over $100. And today only, this is huge, by the way. So listen up. I was talking with Kenzie from Atlas Bullion earlier today, and they are doing a flash sale right now on silver. So if you look in the show notes, the description below, there's a link to this page. They are selling silver under spot. Silver is currently sitting at $90.24 an ounce. They are selling silver for $88 an ounce. So if you wanted a chance to be able to buy some silver under spot, this is your opportunity to do it. I think you can get up to 10 ounces, maybe more. I don't know. I could try. What would it be? Can I buy 20? Let's see. Yeah, look at that. 20 ounces. $1,760. Not bad. That is not bad at all. So please visit atlasbullion.com. Use the link below in the show notes, in the show description, if you want to get your hands on this under spot silver deal. Otherwise, you can sign up for a silver or gold subscription at atlasbullion.com/backlash. So thank you so much for patronizing our patrons. It does make a big difference. And before we get into our stories, there was a couple of things I wanted to share with you. Number one being, we got a letter in the mail, a couple of letters here in the mail. This one's from Joe. You can't see it. It's a little overexposed. My bad. But anyway, this was from December. I apologize that I'm just getting to it now. There was a whole mix-up, and a bunch of papers got moved off of my desk. He said, time to move on from the pumpkins and show some Christmas decorations and cards. Please keep up the great work you are doing. The great work that you are doing. Take Dave's advice and stay close to God through the Catholic faith, from Joe. So thank you so much for that, Joe. And also, we got another letter just yesterday from the mail. And this one is totally not the one that I thought that it was. Where did it go? Somebody sent me this like really heartfelt letter, and it's missing. Oh, well. I apologize. So much for show prep. But there was somebody that sent a really nice letter, acknowledging that, Cam and Rebecca have resigned and that I'm still going on. So thank you so much for sending that. You also sent like $100. So thank you for that. That's huge. Also, I wanted to tell you a little bit about this. Maybe we'll line up an interview or do an episode about this, but let me show you here, if I can, please. Thank you. This is a newspaper called The People's Pen. This is like a local North Idaho newspaper that is available at certain outlets around town. You can like pick this up at the grocery store. But there's a lot of really interesting stuff, and the big headline article in this month's edition is all about anti-Semitism. Can you believe it? It's about the U.S.-Israel alliance. It's about what's been going on between Catholics and evangelicals. We talked about that with Carrie Prejean Bowler on this program a couple of weeks ago. And so it's really interesting to have a real local newspaper like this. Come on, will you switch for me? Look at this. Thank you. It's really nice to have a local newspaper like this that's not controlled by the big corporate interests. It's run by like a guy. It's just some guy that saw that we live in a news desert and all the news is fake. And he decided to make this great newspaper. It's really fantastic. I love it. I love what it's doing. And, just food for thought. There's a lot of people out there that you're always wondering, well, what can we do? How can I make a change in my community? Yada, yada. And one of the biggest ways to do that is by creating media, by getting the word out, by making a small little newspaper or a website, a blog spot, something like that, where you can actually talk about the issues that are happening in your region, which we're going to be getting into tonight, talking about this crazy terrorist attack in Meridian, Idaho. I doubt that any of you have even really heard about this. I don't think it's really penetrated national news media. So if it weren't for the small people, these independent journalists, raising the alarm, doing all the heavy lifting, the digging, people like Casey Whalen, got to give a big shout out. It changes things. It changes things to be able to create this type of information that can be put in the hands of voters. And it also kind of helps people understand exactly what needs to be done in their communities, because I think that a lot of people are just asleep at the wheel. And so anyway, big shout out to the People's Pen. And if you want to get a copy of this, I'm pretty sure that you can order it. I think they have a website, peoplespen.org or something like that. They did not pay me to say this. They probably should have. Maybe one of these days. Yeah, the-peoples-pen.com. Is that it? Oh, whatever. Anyway, check those guys out. They're pretty cool, especially if you live in the area. Big deal. Okay. First story this evening that we're going to be talking about is the State of the Union address. We have a clip here from Donald Trump speaking at the State of the Union. Let's take a listen to what he had to say.
Just got off the phone with the aliens, and they really like me. I have a great relationship with them, but I wish I didn't FaceTime with them because they're really nasty looking, and I made some unpleasant jokes, but I think they like me. We have a deal like you wouldn't believe that's about to happen. I found out they have oil like you wouldn't believe. They don't even touch it. They told me, you're crazy for using oil. I said, you're crazy for not using oil. What's wrong with these aliens? You know, you think aliens would be smarter than us, but apparently they're not, because all they wanted for the oil, think of this, all they wanted for the oil is Marco Rubio. I guess he has some kind of special lineage. They really want Marco Rubio. They love him. And I thought, that's fantastic. Look, Marco's not going to be happy about it, but one person for trillions and trillions of barrels of oil, you have to do it. So Marco's not going to be too happy about it, but he's probably already on his way. I made the phone call.
Anyway, okay, that was obviously not the State of the Union address, but that was fucking funny. Control these days. Loving it. But no, the real State of the Union was probably even more fucked up than that. Let's be honest. At the very beginning of the State of the Union, it started out with this. And of course, if you've been watching the show, you're very aware. You are highly attuned to what's been going on in D.C. You've been highly attuned to things like the Jeffrey Epstein emails and who was coming and going from Epstein Island, maybe even who lived next door to him. And so when you turn on the television and see this happening, that is Howard Lutnick, Jeffrey Epstein's next door neighbor, shaking hands with judges at the Supreme Court, with other elected representatives. We have an Epstein-occupied government. It's obvious. And the clips that have been coming out recently showing Howard Lutnick in the Oval Office laughing as people are talking about 9/11. They're talking about how 3,000 Americans died that day. And Howard Lutnick erupts with laughter. After everything has come out about his relationship with Epstein, how he lied about cutting ties with Epstein, he did a bunch of interviews where he was saying that Jeffrey Epstein is a sicko. And then he goes on to bring his entire family to Pedo Island for a meeting in like 2015, after the 2008-2009 revelations that Jeffrey Epstein was a child trafficker. So this is who runs our government. That's our Commerce Secretary. And there was also some interesting news that had come out about Howard Lutnick recently, namely how Howard was betting against Donald Trump's tariffs. I don't know if you saw this. I think I tweeted about this. I did, and it went viral. Oops. I said this was modern day coin clipping. Howard Lutnick swindles America again. He bet against the Trump tariffs by purchasing the rights to the tariff money from these companies, by purchasing the rights to their debt. And, here he is at the State of the Union address after basically defrauding Americans and everything else that's involved with the Epstein stuff. So it's just unbelievable. There was also a moment in the State of the Union address which was very heated back and forth between Trump and the Democrats. And, Most of it was just political theater. But there was this moment where President Trump got in a shouting match with Ilhan Omar at the State of the Union.
And enact serious penalties for public officials who block the removal of criminal aliens. In many cases, drug lords, murderers all over our country. They're blocking the removal of these people out of our country, and you should be ashamed of yourself.
So they're just sitting there like screaming at each other. You know, this is not healthy. This is not healthy for this country to be sitting there trying to give a State of the Union and you're getting shouted down by these crazy women, Democrats. You know, didn't she marry her brother or something? I can't even keep it all straight, but holy crap. So the State of the Union was pretty much political theater. You know, there were a couple of moments where he was like, if you think we should deport all the illegals, please stand up. And of course, all the Republicans stand up and all the Democrats sit down. So he's like, you guys, you're all for rapists and murderers. Okay. And it's true. And it's, you know, that'll make the rounds on Fox. That'll go well as far as like sound clips and sound bites and all of this stuff. But, you know, I was watching it with my wife, the first part of it, where Trump is going on about how the economy is doing and that the economy is doing so much better than it was under Biden. And it's like, okay, yeah, maybe I'm not paying $1 an egg anymore, but it's still ridiculously expensive. It's like, yeah, sure. You know, there was a chart that I saw that showed how prices for all of these things under Biden had gone through the roof. And, you know, Trump was touting how, oh, we lowered the cost of food and eggs and milk and yada, yada. But it's like down 0.5%, down 1%. Whereas under Biden, it had gone up 5%, 10%, 15% for certain items. And so it's like the amount that all of the food has gone down is in no way, I don't even know how to put it, man. It doesn't make up for how much it went up. It's the inflation in this country has gone so crazy that whatever decrease that we've seen is just not enough. It's not enough. And so anyway, I was not the biggest fan of the State of the Union address. You know, he got a couple of pot shots in, and it was funny to see, you know, but I don't know. I'm not going to do the Trump derangement syndrome thing. You know, I think the guy is messed up. I mean, there were some good things, right? Like he didn't declare war on Iran yet. A lot of people were kind of expecting Trump to say something to that effect, that, you know, we were going to be going to war with Iran. And so thank God that didn't happen. It could have been a lot worse, but it's like, you know, you look at this and it's like, I don't want a country like this. I don't want a country where my leader is up on stage getting shouted down by a bunch of crazy bitches. What planet is this where that's like acceptable behavior? These women that outburst and try to disrupt everything. You know, we've been talking about this at length with what's been going on in North Idaho, that crazy bitch, Teresa Borenpol, that got, you know, pulled out. We talked about that a little bit last week. But anyway, you know, it'd be nice to have a leader who was respected again. It would be nice to have, you know, people working together. I mean, granted, but you see, that's like never going to happen the way that things are going. That's never going to happen. We've got this intractable divide in this country. We've got goofy communist leftists on the one side, and then you've got goofy Republican Zionists on the other side. And that basically takes up 95% of the political spectrum in this country. So anyway, it's just such a fucking mess. Pardon my French. I should really work on not swearing so much. My apologies. But anyway, that kind of brings us to what else has been going on, which is this crazy, crazy terrorist attack in Idaho. So I've got some news clips here that I'll play for you, just to give the background on this, and then we'll get into it a little bit more. So this all started, I want to say, 5 days ago, when somebody, this was before they were arrested, it took 5 days to arrest the perpetrator, but somebody had hijacked an ambulance and crashed it into the ICE facility in Meridian, Idaho. And here is the first, from what I am aware, news report about this taking place.
Police identified the suspect as 43-year-old Sarah Elizabeth.
No, it's not. This is not the first one. Maybe this is it. This is from February 19th. This was the press conference with the Meridian Police.
Approximately 11:10 p.m., officers from the Meridian Police Department, the Ada County Sheriff's Office, Boise Police Department, and the Meridian Fire Department responded to a 911 call reporting that a Canyon County paramedics ambulance had been stolen from the ambulance bay at St. Luke's West. Preliminary investigation indicates the suspect drove the ambulance north through the parking lot and retrieved gas cans that had been staged in nearby vegetation. The suspect then drove the ambulance directly into the North Portico building, which houses Department of Homeland Security offices. Investigators believe the suspect poured an accelerant inside and around the outside of the ambulance. At this time, it appears the suspect was unable to ignite the accelerant before being scared off by responding agencies. We want to emphasize that this was a serious criminal act. The theft and destruction of an emergency vehicle not only created risk to responding personnel, but it also temporarily removed a critical medical resource from the community. There has been a lot of rhetoric surrounding the Department of Homeland Security leasing office space at this location, and comments on social media such as property damage isn't violence is absolutely false. This was absolutely an act of violence. And if the suspect had not been interrupted, there is no doubt this building would have been burned, putting the lives of first responders and others at risk.
Unbelievable. So that was the first news report that we really all saw where, you know, they're talking about how this person hijacked an ambulance, pulled out gas canisters, poured gasoline in the building after they had penetrated it with the ambulance. We've got some photographs here. After Timothy McVeigh them fails to ignite gasoline after driving an ambulance into a DHS office. This is from Pine Tree Riots, showing there's the ambulance inside, plowed through this glass wall, and then a second wall inside. The ambulance is in there. They got out of the ambulance, poured gasoline. Unbelievable. But yeah, dude, Timothy McVeigh them. Bravo. That was fire. Absolutely fire, dude. And so, yeah, there were a bunch of reports that had come out about this from, you know, local Yokel, Idaho, great podcast down in southern Idaho. A stolen ambulance was driven into a Meridian DHS building on Wednesday night. Gas cans pre-staged in the bushes. Suspect still at large. So this was basically what we knew at the time as all of this had started to come out. Now, an arrest has been made. After 4 or 5 days of searching, the local police down in southern Idaho, they found who did it. Can you take a guess? I mean, I think I already talked about it a little bit. But, bro, come on. Suspect in ramming stolen ambulance into Idaho DHS building identified as LGBTQ activist. Holy macaroni. Look at this woman. This butch lesbian. Her name is Sarah Elizabeth George, 43 years old, of Boise, accused of stealing an ambulance parked outside of St. Luke's Meridian on February 18th and then ramming it into a DHS building. According to the complaint, George drove the emergency vehicle into the entrance of the Portico North building at 11 p.m., spread gasoline throughout the lobby in an attempt to set it on fire, failed, and then fled the area on foot. Who could see that coming? Actually, quite a few people could see that coming. There were a whole bunch of people. One of them being, of course, our good friend, Rogue Lou, who made a TikTok video about this like days before it happened. Let's see real quick.
Hey, I'm back doing a TikTok, piggybacking off my other TikTok to do the, hey, guess who was right? Yeah, so left-wing domestic terrorism down in Meridian, Idaho. We knew it. It was obvious. But anyways, I kind of want to go through it.
So anyway, give her a follow, please. She is Roglou18 on X. She's an absolute bolt. She's like one of the few women who I allow in politics. I think that she's okay. She's doing some really fantastic work down in Boise, keeping an eye on the legislature, keeping pressure on. But she has a lot of interesting stuff about this. We, of course, have the mugshot of Sarah George. Oof. Look at this. Look at this. What is this? This is like an epidemic in America. You know who she reminds me of? We watched this video on Friday last week with Homath, the Renee Good shooting in Minneapolis. And remember her butch lesbian girlfriend that came out and was like, hey, big boy, like, why don't you move back, big boy? Like, it's the same thing. We have an epidemic of deranged white liberal women that need to be oppressed. These people need to be oppressed. They need to be put in mental institutions or something. But they're not healthy. This is not healthy for America. It's not healthy for Idaho. Something needs to be done. Somebody's got to do something, to quote Will Stansel. We've got some of this crazy woman's tweets, of course. Once again, from Rogue Lou. She loves alphabet people, mocks religion, is rabidly anti-ICE, and posts violent rhetoric. Let's take a look. For my birthday this year, I am asking for donations to the Community Center Incorporated. I've chosen this nonprofit because their mission means a lot to me, and I hope you'll consider contributing, blah, blah, blah. They provide a safe space and welcoming location for group meetings and social activities for the local LGBT community in the Boise area. We also have a youth group, a transgender support group, a free lending library, where you can give kids pornography. That's what this nonprofit does? Okay, just checking. So, is that her? Is that her right there? Is this fat, disgusting? Is that her? I don't know. I can't tell. I'm very bad with facial recognition. So what else do we have? This is some anti-ICE video. Another anti-ICE video that she's sharing on, what is this, her Facebook? And then, of course, if it can be destroyed by the truth, then it should be destroyed. It was built in lies anyway, right? Showing the White House on fire. Not that there's anything wrong with that. Not that there's anything wrong with kind of like, wanting the collapse of our fucked up government. There was another, I'm going to see if I can get it here. I remember seeing, yes. And I lost it. Yes, here. Maybe if I do this, I can show you without doxing my source. I think so. Yes. Come to me. Okay, so this is from Sarah George on Blue Sky, calling Jasmine Crockett a gaslighting hag. I hope they burn her city to the ground. So you've got statements being made by this crazy lesbian butch, talking about burning cities to the ground, posting photographs, AI photographs of like burning the White House down. And then she goes, steals an ambulance, and tries to burn down an ICE facility in Meridian, Idaho. Okay, cool. But wait, there's more. But there's so much more. Because this wasn't done in a vacuum. It wasn't just that this crazy bitch did what she did. She was incited to do this. She was incited to do this by left-wing groups that are here in Idaho. And we'll show you some of that in just a second. But first, I just want to... Here's another photo that I think deserves to be shared. This is a photo of her as she's getting arrested. Dude, look at the glasses. The problem glasses. Like how we couldn't have known that there was a threat, like just based on her glasses alone. Okay, I think we covered that. We covered that. Hold on. There's a lot of tabs here. This is a lot to process. So, okay, before we get into the incitement angle, before we get there, we've got the criminal complaint. This is from the United States of America versus Sarah Elizabeth George, which was filed. What day was this filed? 2 days ago. Okay. Blah, blah, blah. So this is the affidavit background, which was written by an FBI agent. I am a special agent with, this is going to get clipped, of course. This will get clipped. I am a special agent with the Federal Bureau of Investigation and have been since August 1st, 2021. Clip that. I am currently assigned to National Security and Weapons of Mass Destruction Squad at the Boise Resident Agency of the FBI's Salt Lake City Division. I focus on the WMD squad is to investigate chemical, biological, radiological, nuclear, and explosives violations of federal law. Like, I did not know that they had this in Boise, but apparently they do. So congratulations for like actually solving a case, I guess. Could have prevented this. You know, dear FBI, if you keep watching this video, which I'm sure that my FBI special agent in charge that is, you know, designated to follow me around, if you just watch the rest of this video, I will give you the cheat code that will help you round up every potential domestic terrorist living in the state of Idaho. I will show you the networks. I will unmask the actors behind the scenes. We'll give you their names and their addresses. So just keep watching, okay? All right, now, moving on here. So this is the summary of probable cause. An individual identified as Sarah Elizabeth George stole a Canyon County paramedic ambulance that was parked outside St. Luke's Hospital, blah, 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 blah. She went to Fred Meyer, the Fred Meyer gas station, where law enforcement retrieved the financial records from this transaction and business records for Fred Meyer that indicate that she used a rewards or loyalty card in her name. So like, okay, time out. Before... Okay, if you're going to commit a terrorist attack against a federal agency, things I would not do. Number one would be pay with a credit card. Number two would be like using rewards points to get like what, a penny a gallon off of your gas? Are you kidding me? And like, I don't know, maybe I wouldn't do it on fucking security camera, because that's what the rest of this is about. So after she pays for her gas with her loyalty card and her rewards points outside of a Fred Meyer, she's caught all over closed caption TV or closed circuit TV as she drives her car from the gas station to St. Luke's, stashes the gas cans, then goes back to where she steals the ambulance. Then there's closed circuit TV from inside the ambulance's onboard computer. Are you kidding me? She did this without a mask on, for God's sake. What the? And so here's all of the stuff, right? Here's your Walmart receipt for the gloves, nails, 2-gallon gas can, 5-gallon gas can. Here she is checking out at Walmart. I think maybe there should be a law against women driving trucks too. I don't know if women need to drive trucks. It sounds like something they don't need. Here she is at the fuel pump filling up. She's got like Star Wars shit all over her car. Look at this. She thinks she's in the Rebel Alliance. She thinks that she is taking orders directly from Princess Leia to to get ice. Okay, so here she is getting arrested by the police. This is her social media profile. This is in the actual FBI report, right? She's literally got the gay pride thing with black and brown in it. Bro. Oh my God. Look at this. They have the on fire White House. So this was the actual document that was used to charge her. She was charged with malicious destruction of government property by fire and malicious destruction of property used for affecting interstate or foreign commerce. Those are the charges that were brought against this woman. So have we all learned something? Like, I don't know, use cash next time? Jeez. You know, and it's like, not to get too far afield, but just this week, you know, there was this hit piece released about me, about a little bit about this podcast. We were mentioned a little bit by Mother Jones, right? Get away from me. No, not now. So this article comes out from Mother Jones. And the headline is, How Extremists Reconquered Idaho and How Some Locals Are Fighting Back, right? Under the extremism tag. Okay? So as the media is freaking out, they're writing hit pieces about how, Dave Riley exists. He's in Idaho. He ran for office. He's an extremist. They've reconquered Idaho. And then like literally the same week that this article comes out, some deranged dirtbag lesbian hijacks an ambulance and crashes it into an ICE facility. And I'm the extremist for running for office, for using my freedom of speech, for having a podcast. Just so that you have your head where their heads are at. Because these liberals think that Idaho is like under siege by crazy right-wing extremists and that like, all hope is lost. Therefore, it's okay to attack federal facilities. That's the thinking. That's the thinking here. But furthermore, there was incitement. There was direct incitement. And so over here on X, from Ryan Spoon, who is in no way affiliated with this podcast at all. Ryan Spoon said 3 days ago, a leftist group called Babe Vote and the Idaho 97 Project issued a, quote, call to action against this particular building for leasing office space to the Department of Homeland Security. At 12:30 a.m. this morning, one of their crazed followers acted on this call and rammed a stolen ambulance into the building. So this is the call to action from the Idaho 97 Project, which, by the way, like, these people have had such a hard on for me. It's not even funny. One time they bought a box truck. Let me see if I can get the the tweet. These people literally bought a box truck with my face on it. Box truck. I think I tweeted this recently. Yeah, here it is. Look at this. Look at this. Hate has no place in Idaho. Fire Dave Riley. Riley repeatedly denigrated women, Jewish people, and LGBT people on Twitter. So just so you're aware, right? The people that bought this truck that you see in front of your eyes now, if you're watching on a place where you can watch, we're on Apple Podcasts too. So there are some poor sons of bitches that are only audio. You're going to have to check this out. They bought look down here in the corner. You see this where it says I-97. I-97. This was paid for by the Idaho 97 Project, which is the same people over here that were calling for Idahoans to take action against St. Luke's Health for renting their office space to ICE. They call me an extremist, and then they incite actual fucking terrorism. Okay? Just so that we're all clear what's going on. There's been a lot of people in Idaho that are very snowed about who's the good guy, who's the bad guy. They think I'm the bad guy. I'm not the bad guy, FYI. These people are the bad people. The Idaho 97 Project are the bad people. You want to know who else? Reclaim Idaho, Babe Vote, Spokane Pride, Sandpoint Pride, Silver Valley Pride, CDA Pride Alliance, okay? Those are the bad people. These are people that take young kids and make them twerk on stage dressed as the opposite gender, right? They have youth LGBT transgender groups where they groom kids. They go out and protest and do things like this. And this was not a protest. This was a terrorist attack, okay? So anyway, there was clear incitement to violence from the Idaho 97 Project. There's also a video that we have of somebody with the Idaho 97 Project talking about this. Let's take a look. Is this it? Is this it? Hold on. You can't smell that, but it smells amazing. My wife is sauteing onion right now. You can kind of hear it. It's amazing. So yeah, this was a tweet from Theo Wold. For the last few months, leftist agitators in Idaho from groups like Babe Vote and the Idaho 97 Project have put out the locations of buildings in our state leased by the Department of Homeland Security. 2 of the ICE facilities have now come under attack by left-wing terrorists. Yeah, by the way, that was something else that I wanted to mention. This ambulance ramming thing, that was just one incident. There were 2 incidents this week of people taking action against these ICE facilities. I think we've got a short clip for you here.
Saturday Night News, and thanks for joining us. I'm Abby Wilt. A second building that's being rented by DHS was damaged today. The city of Boise says the Department of Homeland Security's building on Vinnell Way had shattered windows and spray paint on it when officers arrived. It's being leased by DHS and also ICE. The city says it is unknown at this time if this incident is related to the incident at Portico North this week when a stolen ambulance crashed into the building that is also being leased partially by DHS. Boise police are asking anyone with information or surveillance video on both incidents to contact Ada County Dispatch at 208-377-6790.
Unreal. So you've got 2 terror incidents this week in Boise against ICE, against all of these people. So here's a video showing the incitement. Let's take a look at this.
To other news, there's an urgent manhunt at this hour. A suspect accused of stealing an ambulance and then ramming it into a Homeland Security office just outside Boise, Idaho.
This is why St. Luke's needs to cut ties with the DHS. Now, for context, they own this building, which is the Portico North building, which they have been leasing out to the General Services Administration for a while now. Hasn't been a problem until recently when the GSA decided to sublease it to the DHS. But ICE is still a really big part of DHS, which is an agency that has done things like this, and much more locally to Idahoans, this.
Things are getting radical.
Anyway, we don't need to hear from Ron. This is the guy, by the way, that fired me from the Idaho Freedom Foundation. You should send them an email. They fucked up. They fucked up by firing me. They shouldn't have fired me. And you know why they fired me? It was because of this. They fired me because of the Idaho 97 project. The Idaho 97 project comes out and says, fire Dave Riley. And then this guy, this dude, fires me. His first act as president of the Idaho Freedom Foundation, by the way. So, thank you for appeasing leftist terrorists, Ron. Good job. What has it gotten you? Nothing. Because these people, they think, I don't know what they think. They think that maybe politics can be respectable. We're in a knife fight. We're in a knife fight for this country. And Dave Riley, he was at Charlottesville. He's an extremist. Oh, he says things that are, they're true, but they're uncomfortable. So, yeah, don't hire him. Fire this guy. Get him out of here. Oh, fuck you. Anyway. So let's move along. Let's take a look at what else we've got on this, because we're not done. We're not done. So there were 2 terror attacks in the week. We've got the photos of the incident. Now, here are some of the headlines. Are you ready for this? This is some of the headlines from Idaho's media, okay? Like the newspapers, the official mouthpieces for people here in Idaho. Right-wing violence outpaced left-wing attacks for 30 years until now, study finds. Geez, you think? The parent agency of ICE is leasing new space in Meridian. Here's what we know. Idaho lawsuit wants to create national path for holding ICE accountable. Right? We're losing our culture. Idaho lawmakers doubled down on opposing immigration. Very based, very red-pilled, by the way. Brian Lenny over here, Baldy. Love him. Great job. Immigration goons are killing American citizens for no good reason. Opinion. So this is like the milieu from which this attack came from. And then, of course, here is their reporting on the attack. Boise woman arrested in attack on building with ties to ICE in Meridian. What planet do you live on? This was a terrorist attack. This was a terrorist attack on a federal agency. Boise woman arrested in attack on building. Well, if she had her way, it wouldn't have just been a building. It would have also been everybody in it, because she tried to burn it the fuck down. Are you kidding? This is what we have to do. This is why making your own newspapers is so important. Because the actual news that we're getting is bullshit like this, FYI. And anybody can do it. So you've got the incitement, right? And now, what are Idaho leftists upset about this week? Are they upset about the fact that one of their people tried to burn down a hospital, an ICE facility, that there was another facility vandalized? Is that big trending news in Idaho leftist media? No, that's not what they're talking about. This is what they have a problem with. A well-known racist anti-Semitic activist came to the Idaho Legislature Committee hearing in brownface and a Mexican costume yesterday, and the GOP chairman let him testify. Keep in mind, you're not even allowed to wear political t-shirts to these hearings. Humiliating for my state. By the way, this guy lives in Montana, and he's Jewish. He does not represent the state of Idaho at all. So fuck you, Heath. Thanks for the shout out in your big speech, by the way. But this is what they're talking about. This is what the big problem is. Okay? This is a good friend of our show who is now facing some backlash after allowing an overtly racist action, apparently, in the legislature. He dressed up like a Mexican and went and he testified. Like, this is his thing. He's got a flair for, he's got a flair for the theatrical. This is, of course, David Pettinger, who we've interviewed on this show before. I think around episode 47, 48, 49, somewhere in there. We've talked to Mr. Pettinger. He's the one that played Capture the Flag with the gay flag on the flagpole down there in Boise. This is what everybody is upset about this week. It's not terrorism. This is just how unhinged people are. And like, look at this. Like, even Planned Parenthood of Idaho. Idaho leaders condemn overtly racist actions and support by Idaho lawmakers. This is from yesterday. Okay, well, let's take a look in real time. Did you condemn a crazy bitch driving a ambulance into a building? No, you didn't. Look at this. February 19th, Indiana reproductive health. Washington House and Senate proposed budgets, blah, blah, blah. Idaho leaders condemn overtly racist actions and support by Idaho lawmakers. This is what's... Do you see how infuriating this shit is? Someone plows an ambulance into a building and tries to burn it down, and then you've got Planned Parenthood condemning someone for wearing brown face at the legislature. There's like a difference, there's a difference between being offensive, which I understand I can be very offensive. Dave Pettinger can be offensive, but that's not fucking terrorism. People, we have got such a problem in this state. And if we've got a problem in this state, then you've got a problem in your state, wherever you are. And you need to be tracking this shit. You need to be tracking this shit. Not waiting for someone else, not waiting for the cavalry to come in. If you're listening to this show, you need to take some sort of action to expose left-wing organizing, left-wing extremism. Make a list of all the Antifa activists in your state. Do something. It's because the rest of these people aren't going to do anything. And the media doesn't give a fuck. They don't care. They have more of a problem with Dave Pettinger dressing in brown face than they do with it, than they do with a terrorist attack. And that's the sad truth. And, for the FBI agents, by the way, if you just identified butch lesbians as a domestic terrorist group, none of this would happen. It's from Oilfield Rando. That's funny. She was also, by the way, this crazy woman that did she was a part of a group called the Lesbitarian Party. What is this? What is this? Look at this woman's profile. Like, you could literally just put out a, put out like a call. Just arrest all women that look like this, and you'll be fine. You'll be fine. Oh my God. Oh, it's unbelievable. And this is coming amidst a bunch of other stuff. So here's another good group, by the way, to give a follow to, the Idaho Liberty Dogs. These guys are great. This is one of these fantastic local organizations that's doing some good work, actually stepping to the problem people, right? As opposed to pretending like right-wing extremism is a problem. These are the ones that actually got most of the screenshots of this crazy woman's Facebook before it got pulled down. Oh, God bless the Idaho Liberty Dogs. So where I wanted to go with this is that this attack on the ICE facility is like, this is not the first. This is not the first thing that has happened, okay? This is like one in a long line of left-wing terrorism in Idaho. I think we talked about this on the show before. We might not have, but here goes nothing. This was from last year, 2 years ago. I apologize. This is from 2 years ago. On the 4th of July, a guy running for state representative, his name is Cornell Razor. He was running for office, and this crazy bitch burned his business to the ground on the 4th of July. He ran a Army surplus store in Sandpoint. It's a great store, by the way. Please go visit them if you're ever in the Sandpoint area. But she went in and burned the place down. There was ammunition. There were, explosives in this store. And she burnt it down. And she tried to plead insanity. And of course, that didn't go anywhere, thank God. But she's going to be sentenced to 15 years in prison for arson because she burnt this store down, okay? That's one. That's just one thing, okay? Let's keep going. How about how literally 1 year ago to the day, a guy in Shoshone County was charged with felonies after threatening State Representative Jordan Redmond. Are we picking up a pattern here of like crazed leftists that have no restraint whatsoever, that feel that they are entitled to threaten our lawmakers? Because that's what's going on. And not only that, this story is so crazy because the guy filled up his car with gas cans. The exact same way this crazy bitch down in Boise filled up the ambulance with gas cans for her thing. So it's like there's somebody behind the scenes like telling these people like, yeah, you want to go get gas cans, fill up your car with gas cans, and then plow it into the building that you want to destroy. That's what seems to be going on here. I'll play you the video of this report. Again, this was from February 25th, 2025. Today is Wednesday, February 25th, 2026, exactly 1 year ago to the day.
North Idaho now. This morning, a Smelterville man sits in the Kootenai County Jail. The Shoshone County Sheriff's Office arrested Ryan Gaddy because of threats on Facebook against State Representative Jordan Redmond from Coeur d'Alene and his family. According to our news partners at the Coeur d'Alene Press, Gaddy posted commentary about firebombing Redmond's office. Gaddy also made a video outside of Redmond and Company Insurance, his family place of business. He was charged with felony threat of a public servant and a misdemeanor threat against a state official. The Shoshone County Sheriff's Office says Gaddy is now being held on a $25,000 bond.
Are we keeping score? Oh, shut up. Shut up. Stop it. Are we keeping score? Are we keeping track here? Okay. Things not to do when you're going to commit a terrorist attack. Don't use your rewards card. Don't use your credit card. Don't post about it on social media. Maybe posting, I'm gonna fucking burn down your business. Maybe that's not a good idea, okay? Maybe that's not a good idea. But that's not all, okay? I'm not done yet. I'm so sorry, but we're going to grind away at this because it is a problem that nobody is discussing. I'm literally the only one. You've got Zionists out here that say that I'm the biggest problem in the state of Idaho. You've got leftists out here that say that the Republican Party is the biggest threat to Idaho. And then I'm over here saying, I don't know, maybe the people fucking burning shit down, maybe they're the problem. Maybe the ones that are like actively organizing and trying to mount some sort of like armed fucking resistance to like immigration enforcement, maybe they are the problem, okay? Maybe the people that are going around saying that they are going to shoot all of the Trumper fuckers, right? The people that say that they're going to give transphobes the death penalty, maybe they're the problem. This is from 2023, where a licensed clinical, like a mental health professional, okay? This guy, was it Clark Roberts or something? I can't remember his name. What's his name? Are you going to give me his name? I think his name is Clark. I'm not reading this. Clark Richmond, him, licensed clinical professional counselor, right? This guy shows up to the gun range with guns, saying that he's training to shoot Trumper fuckers. That's literally what he said. I'm like, don't at me, okay? That's what he said, to shoot racist Trumper fuckers. Okay? Meanwhile, this guy tried to burn down a hospital. Look at this. Richmond pleaded guilty to second-degree arson and aggravated assault. According to the North Idaho Exposed Substack, Richmond has a criminal history in California that includes petty theft and taking a motor vehicle without permission. Like, bro, are we seeing the pattern? Are we noticing some patterns here, okay? Stealing ambulances, stealing cars, filling up gas cans, talking about killing right-wing extremists. Are we picking up a pattern here that might be problematic, that might be like a good place to focus on when it comes to keeping Idaho safe? Because again, this is Idaho. Imagine how bad it is in Minneapolis or Philadelphia, LA, Las Vegas, Florida. This is happening everywhere. So you got a guy that tried to burn down a hospital and had stolen cars, going around talking about how he is going to shoot up Trump supporters. Okay, and then there's this. A local elected official, Todd Panducci, was violently attacked by an unhinged leftist professor who was enraged. The guy went on television and said that he does not regret it as the fear of left-wing terrorism spreads through the community. Right? This is what has been happening. The media has been inciting people to commit acts of violence with impunity. It's unbelievable. And so how far back does this go? Because it does go far a ways back. All of the groups that are involved in stoking this left-wing terrorism were started in the 1980s in Idaho. Why? To combat the Aryan nations, right? The Wasmuth Center, the Human Rights Education Institute, the Kootenai County Task Force on Human Relations, which are all led by this crazy bitch. Women, fucking women, dude. You go back and watch that podcast we did last Friday with Homath. There's something wrong with these women. So Christy Wood, who works with the Southern Poverty Law Center, right? She's an ex-cop. She works with the Southern Poverty Law Center. They were doing it in the 90s and 2000s to go after Richard Butler and his band of idiot neo-Nazis in Hayden, the Aryan nations. However, they've strayed a long way from their original mission. Instead of fighting for human rights, free speech, and justice, her organization, like the SPLC, has become a weapon against conservatives. True. Very true. The SPLC, by the way, was discovered to have ties with domestic terrorists. Do you remember this? I don't know if it'll pop up or not. You know, it's also from the post-millennial. It doesn't matter. But the SPLC, remember, they were working with like a bunch of like people that were firebombing Cop City in Atlanta. Now, I get it that there were some sort of ties between Israel and this group of cops. I understand that. But this is crazy. SPLC lawyer charged with domestic terrorism over Antifa attack on police facility in Atlanta. So this woman who, this woman who's on city council in Coeur d'Alene, who has been working with the Southern Poverty Law Center since the 1990s, and the Southern Poverty Law Center, who has ties with actual domestic terrorists that like shot bombs at cops in Atlanta, Georgia. This is who is in charge of Idaho. And then you've got groups like Idaho Leaders United, the Idaho 97, Babe Vote, all of these other people. These are all part of what are called mutual aid networks, where these networks of leftists get together and they plot and plan for ways to, like, I don't know, commit terrorism against right-wing white Christians. That's what's happening. So definitely please check out the reporting on all of this stuff from the Idaho Tribune. Oh, and I can take it one step deeper. I can take it one step deeper on this particular podcast. I need to do a documentary at some point. I'd really like to. I think that the content is there for it. But every single time. Okay, so these leftist groups that have now blossomed into Babe Vote, Idaho 97, that are inciting terrorist attacks in Idaho, okay? That all was started from the seed of the Kootenai County Task Force on Human Relations and the Idaho, Human Rights Education Institute, okay? Who were the Task Force on Human Relations and the Education Institute? Who were they working with to fight the Aryan nations back in the 1980s? None other than a guy named Mordecai Levy. Mordecai Levy from the Jewish Defense League, who offered to send a Catholic priest and the Kootenai County Task Force on Human Relations weapons and explosives to fight the Aryan nations in Coeur d'Alene. I'm not shitting you. Mordecai Levy, who contacted Wasmuth on Wednesday from New York to offer protection, believes that the bombing must be avenged with weapons. Okay? This is the whole article. And it's like, that's not even it. Why was Bill Wasmuth, a man fighting for human rights, in direct contact with Mordecai Levy, an agent provocateur from the Anti-Defamation League, who put out a $1,000 hit against residents of Coeur d'Alene and was eventually arrested for attempted murder in New York City in 1989? Isn't it curious? And so here you've got proof that Mordecai Levy was organizing Nazi rallies and he was associated with the Jewish Defense League, right? If you're watching on your screen and following along, you'll see I'm not just like making this up. There's a picture of Mordecai Levy getting arrested in New York. And so this is from the Spokane Chronicle, which is sadly out of print, from September 18th, 1986, where Mordecai Levy continued by saying his organization, the Jewish Defense League, is offering a $1,000 reward for anyone who shoots any Nazi in defense of the community. Okay? This is who started the left-wing terrorism in Idaho. It started with the Jewish Defense Organization, Mordecai Levy, Irv Rubin, the Wasmuth Center, Bill Wasmuth, the Kootenai County Task Force on Human Relations, the Human Rights Education Institute, And now you've got a whole bunch of other POTR for Idaho, which is this big illegal alien group. And then Babe Vote, Idaho 97. It all finds its root in the fight against the Aryan nations, which was led by Mossad operatives that worked for the fucking Anti-Defamation League in Idaho. Just FYI. So here's the Daily News article where Jewish militant shoots bystander. This is the guy that was collaborating with Idaho leftists in the 1980s against white, right-wing Christian conservatives. There's a whole thread on this, by the way. If you go to the Idaho Tribune, maybe I will post this thread in the live chat. So for those of you that want to go a little bit deeper in the live chat, you can certainly read about that. So, just again, what's the big problem here? Is it people like me that use free speech? Is it people like Dave Pettinger who show up? They, might make you feel a little uncomfortable to see a guy in brown face, but that's not terrorism, okay? That's not illegal. We need to fight to protect those freedoms, freedom of speech, association, etc. Also, if you go to, here's another one of these people. Oh, and by the way, I've just been showing my screen this entire time. I apologize. Here's another one of these people. Put this bitch on a list. Tiffany Deems. She was thrown in jail after shouting obscenities at grandmothers praying at the March for Life in Boise. Okay? This is the group. Put these bitches on lists. Ugly, too. Tiff, get some work done, okay? You could go to Turkey. You could get a nice face job. So wait, hold on. This is how she looks IRL, okay? Burn that image into your third eye. And now look at what she posts on her social media. She posts she does the MySpace angle, She does the MySpace angle. Oh my God. So anyway, we've got a problem in Idaho. These people Reclaim Idaho. What's his dumbass's name? Luke something. I don't know. Anyway, pay attention. Don't fall for the bullshit. I know that there was we talked a little bit about it. On yesterday. Oh, what day of the week is it? It's Wednesday. Yesterday was the State of the Union, right? And so here in Kootenai County anyway, you had two options. You could sit at home and watch the State of the Union, or you could go to a candidate forum where you could actually meet the people running for office, right? Do we understand that watching Fox News, watching television, this podcast itself, this is entertainment. This is an entertainment podcast. Nick Fuentes is entertainment. All of these people, it's entertainment. What you want, I think, is actual change, something to actually change in where you live. So you need to get offline and get IRL and go meet with people. Go to candidate forums. Show up at real shit, okay? Watching stuff on the internet is not a substitute for anything. And, I encourage you, wherever you live, whether it's Idaho, Montana, Washington, Oregon, California, Florida, it costs $15 to register a website. FloridaAntifa.com should take me to a list of all of the top Antifa activists that are like these crazy bitches, right? Make it easy for law enforcement. Help them out, okay? I know a lot of these people are not good. I'm not the biggest fan of the police, neither are you, but hey, there are good people and there are bad people, and we know who the bad people are, okay? So anyway, that's what I have for you on the terror attack in Idaho. We have one more story that we're going to talk about, but first I do need to give a brief shout out to Antelope Hill Publishing, because if you're reading this story or listening to this story about left-wing terrorism, then you might want to know where this kind of began. And Antelope Hill has a trove of books retranslated from the 1920s, the 1930s, when a lot of this left-wing terrorism was first getting started. And you can read about it firsthand in these books. We've interviewed Josh Neal, who wrote Intolerant Interpretations. That was a great episode. Go back and watch that if you haven't already. I did a podcast about Rise of the Reich, which is interesting. Their new book that I'm eagerly awaiting to dig into. The Essay Cleans Up by Heinz Lohmann. This is about right-wing activism in Germany. Of course, I'm not the extremist. I'm totally fine. I'm totally normal. Quick, buy this book about Nazi Germany. Come on. Use promo code Backlash10. You'll get 10% off. But listen, Antelope Hill, they're fighting to keep history alive against a regime of anti-white censorship. They're trying to equip a new generation of dissidents with the information to fight the anti-white regime. Their varied catalog includes newly updated and expanded third edition of Kevin MacDonald's Culture of Critique, the essential modern text on Jewish identity, Dr. Ricardo Duchesne's magnum opus Greatness and Ruin, the definitive scholarly examination of European exceptionalism, as well as works by Kerry Bolton, Paul Kersey, and Josh Neal. Antelope Hill recently brought David Irving's iconic Nuremberg: The Last Battle back into print and have numerous translations of historical works such as Fascist Italy, National Socialist Germany, and Civil War Spain, all previously unavailable in English. There are also plenty of books on contemporary issues such as transgenderism, the opioid crisis, and Christian nationalism, as well as history books, novels, and children's books. So whatever your interest is, you're bound to find books that you like at Antelope Hill, all professionally published and with sleek, modern cover art. Help us and help our people by checking out companies that share our values and fight for our cause. Visit AntelopeHillPublishing.com. Check the link in the description below. We've got links. Buy their books. Use promo code Backlash10. And another one of these great companies that is fighting for our people is also Above Time Coffee. They make I'm just going to say it, they make the best coffee in America that I'm aware of. And I've tasted a lot of very good coffee. AboveTimeCoffee.com. They make small batch, hand-roasted, fair trade coffee of all flavors and varieties. I've personally tried the blonde roast and the light New England roast. They are absolutely fantastic. They've got all kinds of other stuff, mocha pots, they've got French presses, coffee grinders, and more. So please check out Above Time Coffee, and if you use promo code Backlash10, you will get 10% off your order with Above Time Coffee Roasters. So please patronize our patrons. And you can, of course, you can find all of the links to all of our patrons on our website. If you go to our website, click affiliates, right? In the menu, boom, all of it pops up. All of our wonderful companies, they're the best companies that supports this show and helps us get the word out about what's really going on in places like Idaho. And not just places like Idaho, but things that are really going on in places like, I don't know, Lakewood, New Jersey. Have you been seeing this? There's some craziness unfolding on Twitter.com. Hold on, let me reset real quick. I've covered that and that and that. Go away. We've covered all of these stories. Fantastic. Look at this. Lining them up, knocking them down. That's how I like to do it. So not only are we covering what's going on in Idaho, but we're going to cover a little bit about what's going on elsewhere, like Kiryas Joel and Lakewood, New Jersey. Have you seen these things? So there's a new guy on the street, Tyler Oliveira. Go follow him, okay? Follow me too. Follow this podcast. Smash the like button. Follow. Send super chats at thebacklash.net/superchat. Follow us. But we'll also point you to great content creators like Tyler Oliveira, who I'm going to need your help. I'm going to need your help putting pressure on him to get him to come on the show. I want to interview this guy. I want to talk with him about what he's experienced. but this guy has just released his second documentary about these insular Jewish groups in the United States of America, and it's absolutely blowing up on X. My post about this already has 250,000 views. I said that there are a lot of people that were up in arms about the Somalians in Minnesota that are awfully quiet about what's going on in New Jersey. And it's true. And I even got commented by Laura Loomer. Look at this. And it's not just Laura Loomer. Bro, I'm on a list. I'm on a list, and I know that I'm on a list. And it's okay that I'm on the list. I just would like to ask our friends Peter Thiel and Joe Lonsdale to drone strike my house next week, because we've got a lot of big things going on. We've got a big event happening here on Friday and Saturday. A lot of people paid for tickets to come up to North Idaho. Looking forward to having a big event this weekend. So don't drone strike me before then, but I did get the co-founder of fucking Palantir commenting in response to my tweet, Joe Lonsdale. Have you seen this scumbag? Please drone strike me. Go ahead, fucking piece of shit. Pardon my French. I founded Palantir Tech. Found this, asshole. He uses these algorithms to murder people indiscriminately. So, in culo a chite morto, okay? Mr. Joe Lonsdale. Maybe that's acceptable for for YouTube. But anyway, the point is, a lot of Jews are upset at what's been coming out from Tyler Oliveira. So we've got some clips here we're going to go through real quick. You're going to be, if you haven't seen this yet, you're going to be shocked. Take a look.
I want to make an important distinction between the Amish and the Hasidic Jews and Kiryas Joel. The Amish pay for themselves. They're self-sustaining. They're not reliant on welfare programs funded by the taxpayer. I think it's exploitative by nature, though. Yeah, why don't you throw all your money at them and help sustain their lifestyle? Why do I have to take a cut of my paycheck to go towards Kiryas Joel's insulated Hasidic Jewish community that has nothing to do with me? I'll never get anything out of. There's zero upside for them to exist for me.
The government makes criteria for getting financial aid. And if someone qualifies for that criteria, I'm not sure why when the Jew does it, you're calling it exploitive or taking advantage, but you don't say that to all the other people and populaces that don't have it.
Well, I've never seen anything of this scale to where the families are this large and it's sort of baked into their strategy of child rearing.
So are you against having children, having a lot of children?
I'm pro-children. That's great. I think you should be able to afford it. How do they afford to raise such large families? How do they afford to study full-time? What are you arguing? That I have an obligation as a taxpayer to fund you and how many kids you want to have? If you want to have 30 kids, that's just how it is.
I'm arguing that if the law is set up to have certain criteria for people and it's according to children, then people who qualify for it are entitled to get it.
So, okay, that might not have been the best first video. That might not have been the best first video to go through. Let's watch a couple more of these. This is incredible.
Okay, that's it.
Oh, dude, if you haven't been watching this, you're missing out.
Excuse me, sir. What are you doing? Should I call the cops on you? Okay, that's it. I'll be back.
Oh, brother.
Nobody wants you here. Please move out.
That's me getting the cops sicked on me in Lakewood, New Jersey, one of the largest Orthodox Jewish communities in America. 1 month ago, I made a video in a Jewish village in upstate New York and was called an anti-Semite for questioning anomalously high welfare usage among Jews with massive families.
Look around. You will not see a non-Jewish resident here.
We got the Yiddish bus.
This is really all Jewish stores. The pizza place, it's going to be kosher pizza.
Tell me about Lakewood. Good place to live?
Amazing place to live. There's so much Jewish life here. It's so easy to be Jewish.
Happy Shabbos, man.
You too. Enjoy.
All right, have fun.
Tyler! I love you, Tyler! Tyler is the GOAT!
God bless you.
You should go because you're stopping traffic. Let's go. Move on.
He's stopping traffic, not me.
Yeah, right. No. You should move on. Nobody wants you here. Please move out.
He was saying, Tyler, he loves me.
Any person from any race has a right to have children.
Why do I have to pay for it? That's all I'm asking. Why do I have to pay for it? Answer that.
Elon Musk has 12 kids. Why can't I have 12 kids?
He pays for it.
Their story point over here is that people can't have children if they can't afford them.
You should not have more kids than you can afford. You're arguing that I should pay for your kids.
I'm not arguing that I should pay for the kids.
You are.
I'm arguing that the government said.
No, that's our money. I pay taxes.
That anti-Semitism is lucrative, no?
Why do you think anything that you don't like to see is anti-Semitism?
Trying to twist it to make it look like we're doing fraud. It's going to make you a lot of money, and it's going to jump a lot of hatred towards the community that's seeing a rise in anti-Semitism that hasn't been seen in years.
You know I'm not an anti-Semite.
I don't know that.
Come on, you use that as a weapon.
Excuse me, what are these pictures for? Excuse me, sir. What are you doing? Did I call the cops on you? Okay, that's it. I'll be back.
Okay. You two gentlemen, they asked not
Fair
to
enough.
come back.
Amazing.
If you come back, it'll be a trespassing charge. You're
Fair
trespassing.
enough. Yeah, this guy doesn't even know what the First Amendment is. Don't be a joker, bro. Come on, gonna follow us.
There's a special response unit. They're gonna just trail us around.
Our camera guys are getting the cops pulled up on them. Let's see what's going on. Did I get the cops called on me again?
Yes.
What's the problem?
Everybody's skittish now.
Listen, we've met each other a few times now. Yeah. We're not trying to cause me trouble. So anyways, am I under arrest?
You're under arrest.
All right.
So anyway, oh my God, dude, these videos are just absolutely fire. If you're not following Tyler Oliveira, you're doing it wrong. So what he's been doing is going around these Jewish communities. I've got so many clips that I want to play for you. He's going around these Jewish communities, these like very insular Hasidic communities, in places like Lakewood, New Jersey, Kiryas Joel in New York. Bro, I remember one time I was up in Connecticut and I was visiting friends and I stayed at this hotel. And dude, it was like some sort of fucking bad movie. I literally I exit my hotel room and I go down to the lobby for something. And it was like Hasids everywhere with the hats, the whole thing, the curls, the tassels, the whole 9 yards. It was like, bro, what happened? There was a wedding, I guess, at the hotel. They took the whole thing over. It was unbelievable. Never seen anything like that in my life. And I've lived in Brooklyn, you know. I guess I didn't live in the Hasidic part of Brooklyn, you know. But my God, these people are taking over large swaths of American territory. And they're using the government to pay for it. They're getting their own people elected to office. If you watch these videos from Tyler, you'll see that these Hasidic Jews, they move into an area and then they vote as a bloc. They vote as an ethnic bloc. They vote for their people. They get their people into office, and then they defund programs for the Goyim, you know, art, music, education, and they divert all of the funding to their private Jewish schools. That's what's going on. It's incredible. So here, let's take a look at another clip that will probably explain a little bit better than I can. And this way also, you don't have to take my bigoted, hateful, right-wing extremist word for it. Just take it from the people that live there. Let's take a look.
School board was majority private school owners, you know, mainly Jewish white men, and most of our school was not Jewish. And
Jews aren't white, by the way.
they had control over our public school system over like the past 10 years, purposely voting no on our school budget vote so that way we would fail, and we lost about 3-2 schools.
Basically, through block voting, Orthodox Jews won enough seats to control the East Ramapo School Board and went on to eliminate hundreds of public school positions like teachers and social workers, while approving millions of taxpayer dollars to be spent on their children's religious private schools, ultimately gutting the public school system for the estimated 9,000 black and brown public school students, while diverting that money to their private religious schools.
Okay, now hold on a second. Time out. We'll keep going, but time out. You want a solution? That's the solution. Right there. They just gave the game away. This is how to operate in America in 2026. You create a voting bloc of people with a similar worldview. You get them elected to office, and then you start defunding the living shit out of everything public and divert all of that money to your private schooling, private Catholic schooling, private Protestant schooling, whatever. Don't care. Anything would be better than public school. Public school sucks. It sucks. That's why I ran for school board in 2021. It's awful. Even here in Idaho, 50% of white kids can barely read at their grade level. So get your church together and vote together for your people. And then when you get your people elected to office, defund everything and throw all of the funds towards your private project. Okay? That's the game. These people have figured out the system. They figured out how it works. They're very good with the law. They're very good with legalism and reading how the laws work, And so, hello, this is it. This is it. Figure out how to use child tax credits. Figure out how to use welfare. Figure out how to get as many government handouts as humanly possible. Make a homeschooling co-op, and then take all of that money and build yourself a school instead of giving that money to the government. Hello, these guys have figured it out. Sorry, continuing.
Give us food that's rotten and it's cold and it hurts our stomach.
I ask you, do not take our music program away. I love playing an instrument. My brother would be crushed.
And the budget cuts were so devastating that in one instance, an elementary school shut down, and the majority Jewish school board then voted to sell it to a Jewish yeshiva for pennies on the dollar. Basically, the poorest, most vulnerable kids in these communities had their schools gutted and looted, all by a majority Jewish school board whose kids didn't even attend public school.
We believe that some of the decisions that have been made by the board have not been in the best interest of the public school community.
You don't like it? Find yourself another place to live.
How was your education?
My education, it was decent, but it definitely could have been better if we had the resources that we were allowed to have. But again, for the past 10, 15 years or so, people have been purposely voting no on our school budget vote, so that way we had no funding and money for our school. And, that was done purposely.
And who was voting no?
Majority, the Jewish community. You, drive around here, you'll literally see signs saying vote no for a school budget, which I think is crazy. Luckily, we were able to get a ward system to be able to get 3 seats for the wars, but if it wasn't for that, we still would be majority white Jewish men voting for public school students that they don't care about. Yeah, and they purposely go out their way to isolate us.
You hear that? White Jewish men. White Jewish men. So, I've gotten in trouble for this in the past. I'll probably get in trouble for it again. Don't really give a fuck. Jewish people pretend that they're white as long as it serves their interest. And then as soon as the heat gets on them, they go, oh no, I'm Jewish. Actually, I'm not white. I'm Jewish. Please don't hurt me. That's what goes on. There is a distinction. And, you get it. I know that you and I get it, but people still need to figure this out. That Jews aren't white. Okay? They pretend to be white. And then white people get the blame for the actions taken by Jews. Like what's going on here in Lakewood, New Jersey. So anyway, let's see. There's 20 seconds left of this video. We'll close it out.
Basically isolated to the point where we feel like this isn't our home.
A lot of people like to say they're ducking taxes and all that. There's truths and lies to that, but I could only tell you that I've only seen the bad part. The bad part is I've seen houses get broken down. I've seen certain spaces, buildings get destroyed for let's just say for more kosher customs. You feel me? So
you feel me? For more kosher customs, you feel me? Bro, why can't black people and white people, we could do some good. I feel like we could do some good together. Oh my gosh. Here's another clip. This one's from Vlad the Inflator, Darth Powell. Let's take a look.
They moved to a different country.
Why don't you go back to Israel? That would be my question.
You're trying to twist it to make it look like we're doing fraud.
What have I said that's anti-Semitic? You use that as a weapon. This is Lakewood, New Jersey, home to one of the largest and fastest growing Orthodox Jewish communities in America, having anywhere from 6 to 10 kids per family, causing the community's rapid growth to spill into the neighboring towns of Jackson, Toms River, Brick, and Howell, causing non-Jewish residents to fear that their town will soon be turned into Little Jerusalem just like Lakewood.
Like you discovered that anti-Semitism is lucrative, no?
Why do you think anything that you don't like to see is anti-Semitism? Nothing about this is anti-Semitic. I've done this with many groups.
You're trying to make it sound as like anyone who accepts government money in the Jewish community is doing fraud.
That's your interpretation. Yeah, you guys have group chats of me. Beware of this guy like I'm like Hitler or something.
You're arguing with the United States, so why don't you move to a different country?
Why don't you go back to Israel? That would be my question.
Because I like it here.
Same here.
Fraud in every community.
I 100% agree.
When you talk about people accepting government money, trying to twist it to make it look like we're doing fraud.
There were welfare programs that were defrauded by Jews. Why would you dare use the word anti-Semitism when you know I'm not anti-Semite?
I don't know that.
Come on, you use that as a weapon.
Any person from any race has a right to have children.
Why do I have to pay for it? That's all I'm asking. Why do I have to pay for it? Answer that.
So taxpayers have to pay for me to have one kid but not 3 kids? Why would there be a cap?
You know,
it's either
honestly,
no kids.
I think you're getting greedy. It should be 0 at this point.
Oh my God. But anyway, there's the play. There's the play. Are we going to switch? There we go. There's the play. Have as many kids as humanly possible. Use government money to raise them. Vote as an ethnic bloc to take over the school boards and all of the local boards. Defund everything public and then reroute everything to your church. There you go. That's how you win. They've cracked the code. But anyway, it's just unbelievable to see people becoming aware of this because this has been happening at an unbelievable scale. There are communities all throughout the United States of America that are totally insulated, totally Hasidic. There's like, it's like walking into Little Israel, Little Jerusalem, whatever. We talked about this actually with Casey Putsch on Monday. I was surprised, by the way, at how based Casey Putsch was. He knows exactly what's going on in Ohio. And Ohio is just totally screwed. Since the Prohibition days, the Jewish mafia, rum running, all of this stuff. And now there was, I guess, an entire town, basically just like these, Kiryas Joel and Lakewood, New Jersey. There's entire towns like this in Ohio, in New York, Connecticut, Massachusetts, all over the East Coast. And they're trying to do it in Idaho, by the way. Are you aware of this? Go to jewishidaho.com and you get Chabad Lubavitch of Idaho that's trying to build the exact same shit in Boise, by the way. So that's going to be crazy. We've got a couple of, I'm working on, there was a guy that did some independent journalism at like a Chabad meetup. And he made an incredible like hour-long documentary, just interviewing people, talking with them, putting their words on the screen. And what was his name again? I'll pull up his Twitter real quick, just so I'm not snubbing anybody here. Oh, now she's cooking. I can smell that she's cooking potatoes, and it smells amazing. Guy I'm talking about here is Drew TV. If you haven't followed him, he's pretty good. That's not it. This is it. But he's done some interesting work as well. Kind of like Tyler, but he's a little bit smaller. Drew TV, Tragsman on X. So anyway, we're working on getting a couple of interviews together with Tyler, with Drew TV. It'll be very interesting to see how this goes forward. But please watch this stuff. There's no amount of commentary that I can give that outweighs seeing it with your own eyes and hearing it from their own mouths, what they're doing, how they're gaming the system to have 10, 12, 15 kids all raised on government subsidies in these places. You've got to see it. You've got to be aware of it because there is a battle for this country. We're going to wind up like Palestinians in this country, getting outbred and kicked out by a group of people that has figured out how to game the system better than we have. So please follow this guy, Tyler Oliveira. Watch his documentaries. It's very good stuff. Everyone's talking about it. And that's it. That's the story about the Jews taking over Lakewood, New Jersey. I think we've got a bunch of super chats I got to get to here. But also, before we get there, I need to give a couple of shout outs. One of them being to odggsupply.com. As you're seeing these crazy Hasidic communities popping up all over the country, creating their own police forces their own intelligence agencies. You need to do something for yourself to get yourself prepared. And you can do that by going to odggsupply.com. They've got tactical gear. They've got blankets. They've got tents. They've got rucksacks, backpacks. They've got all kinds of equipment that you would need to shelter yourself, to, work out any kind of threat reduction on your property, perhaps. If you're like me and you got a couple of acres in a rural area, you want to be prepared. And so visit ODGG Supply. They've got night vision. They've got thermal ocular gear. They've got all kinds of stuff, battle tested and proven in the field. They've got apparel too, by the way. I need to get some of this stuff, like some of the, what is it, camo? I got to get some camo. I don't have any. I need to go hunting too. But anyway, go to odggsupply.com. Use promo code BACKLASH25 and you will get free shipping on your orders. And so please support them. They support this show. We're very thankful for that. So please go shop with them. You can, of course, find all of the links to all of our affiliates at our website, thebacklash.net/affiliates. There they are, ODGG Supply, right here with the little monkey logo. So please visit them. And also, I've got to give a big shout out to North Idaho Tallow Company. They make soap and skincare products that are not full of endocrine disruptors. They're not made out of petroleum byproduct and, industrial sludge waste from oil. They make premium soap and skincare and candles, by the way, too, that don't have endocrine disruptors. They don't have soy. They don't have GMO crap in it. They don't have any fake fragrances that will turn you gay and reduce the testosterone in your body. So, I know that buying soap and skincare, that's not exactly like a right-wing hetero male thing, I guess. But I don't know, man. I love this stuff. I've been using this soap since they came on the market. They're fantastic. Please visit Idaho Tallow. If you use if you order over $100, your order will ship free. There's no promo code. No promo code necessary for Idaho Tallow. So please visit them. And before we get to some super chats, I want to remind you about a special, amazing deal that is going on right now with our friends at Atlas Bullion. They are selling silver under spot value. Right now, silver looks like it's closed at $88. It's been swinging all over the place. When we first started this broadcast, it was at $90 an ounce. Now it's at $88.30 an ounce, but they have a special deal where you can buy for $88 an ounce. That is under spot. You can get, I think, up to 10 ounces, maybe more. I don't know. Give it a shot, but they're doing it on purpose. The link to this is in the show description below. If you have been thinking about stocking up on precious metals, now is the time to do it, because the debasement of the US dollar, do you think that the government is going to start cutting all of these entitlements to these Jewish communities? No, fuck no. They're not going to do that. You think they're going to do something about Social Security or Medicaid or the rampant fraud with the Somalians? No, that's not going to happen. They're going to keep spending and running the deficit up, which is north of $36 trillion. That's going to continue. That's going to happen. So please visit atlasbullion.com/backlash and get signed up to stack precious metals the easy way. They've got gold and silver subscriptions for as low as $55 a month for silver, $200 a month for gold. And you can be saving in an asset that cannot be inflated away by the federal government, by weak, loser, career politicians that would never, ever think to cut a budget, right? They're going to tank the US dollar. The world is moving towards a gold standard. That's very obvious for everyone to see. And yeah, by the way, for those of you who doubted me, you thought that I was going to turn this show into a giant Bitcoin shilling show. I have a report from our friends at River Bitcoin about Bitcoin adoption and how all the fundamentals are still strong And I'm not going to go through this. I was thinking about doing it, but I'm not going to. You can go over that yourself. Oh, is my computer freezing? I've got too many tabs open. But anyway, visit atlasbullion.com/backlash. And now we're going to get to some of your super chats. So thank you very much. Starting on Entropy, Judge Lot sent $25. Thank you for the big super chat. Hey, Dave. Sorry if you've covered this, but I've been in night class. Did Rebecca and Cameron leave the show? Did you discuss this in another episode? Yes, I did. Cameron and Rebecca quit a couple weeks ago. Cameron quit, and then Rebecca quit, and then we put out a statement about that. And it's sad, and we wish them the best. I think Rebecca's working on getting something new together, maybe with Devin Stack. I don't know. Cameron is still doing his channel over at Neo-Masculinity on YouTube. But yeah, we wish them the best. They have parted ways, and God bless them. That's what happened. Sorry that you missed that. We've done a couple of episodes where we've talked about this. Let's see here. Over on Power Chat, we've got a few here, actually. One of these is from Overfit Sherlock, who sent $50 on YouTube. Thank you for the big super chat, Overfit Sherlock. New name, same supporter, used to be PB Fella. You are crushing it, and yep, inflation is cumulative. Prices don't just roll back. Yeah, dude, it pissed me off to hear Trump talking at the State of the Union. We've dropped prices so much. No, you haven't, actually. Like, meat, they just, with the CPI, the inflation index, when an item becomes worth more money, they just remove it from the CPI. So the CPI doesn't reflect actual inflation. They pick and choose which things. So anyway, yeah. Thank you for the big super chat. I do appreciate it. Camille Cooper K90 sent $9.99 on YouTube. Howdy from New Plymouth, Idaho. We really support and appreciate your content, Dave. We hope you and the family are doing well. God bless. Well, thank you very much. I love New Plymouth, actually. I spent some time down in Emmett, as some of you may know, a very certain candidate for governor, Ammon Bundy, was down there. Spent some time there in 2022. And of course, New Plymouth is right there. There's a Latin Mass, by the way, in New Plymouth. So definitely check that. It's one of the only Latin Masses in southern Idaho. So big shout out to the boys and girls in New Plymouth, Idaho. Thank you so much for watching. I do appreciate it. Anonymous sent $10. Your deep dive into the corruption in Idaho was interesting. Are you going to do other deep dives into Ruby Ridge, Oklahoma City bombing, etc.? Great question. I would love to. That's been on the table here for like a couple of years. We've been talking about doing something into Oklahoma City. I'd love to do that. Maybe I'll bring Sam Parker in to help with some of the lifting on this, because both of these topics, both Oklahoma City and Ruby Ridge, are just huge, huge topics. And people have no clue about Ruby Ridge, like the truth about what really happened. And it really takes like being here. I live about an hour away from Ruby Ridge, and I've met with the people that like babysat Randy Weaver's kids. Like I met their babysitter. I used to hang out with the guy that used to sell Randy Weaver socks at his Army surplus store. So these people all still are up here. They still exist. They're real human beings, and they tell a very different story about what happened at Ruby Ridge than what the mainstream media has presented for the past 25, 26 years. It's just unbelievable. How many years has it been? 26? 27? I'm not good at math. Someone will have to figure that out. It was what, 1993? 2026? I can't do math. Don't make me do it. But anyway, but yeah, I'm planning on doing something. There's somebody named Wendy Painting who wrote the book Aberration in the Heartland of the Real. Go read her book. about the Oklahoma City bombing. It's very good. I would love to either bring her or perhaps, there was some other woman. I used to have her book, Sherry Seymour. Sherry Seymour has done some interesting work on Oklahoma City as well. She lived in Post Falls, Idaho, and was a private investigator. She was one of the only few independent journalists that actually had contact with the radical right in the 1970s and 1980s. She wrote a book about it called The Committee of the States. And so I think it'd be really great content. But like, I don't know if that content would be best served like this, or if it would be better to make like a documentary and like actually go to Ruby Ridge. I've met with Sarah Weaver, you know, with the FBI agent in charge, Wayne Maness. Not a good guy, by the way. His daughter, total loser. Have you seen, by the way, in this hit piece, one of the people that they interviewed about me was the daughter of the FBI agent at Ruby Ridge. This bitch, Krista Hazel. What's going on, Krista? Hey, how you doing? Hope you're well. Hope you and your husband Joel are well. Dude, when women hit the wall, they just hit the wall. Oh my God. Anyway, this woman got caught stealing like $300 from JCPenney about a month before Ruby Ridge happened. And her daddy made that felony charge go away. And then launched an assault on Randy Weaver for having a shotgun like a quarter of an inch too short. So anyway, tell me in the comments, leave a comment, send me an email, info@thebacklash.net. I think that some of this content would be best presented as like a documentary, you know, bring the cameras out from behind the table here and actually like go in the field. So let me know what your thoughts are on that. But I think we got some big plans coming up. Look at this. I can spend as much time on Super Chats as I want. I can just keep talking and talking. Tomahawk sent $10 on Rumble. I'll have to catch the replay, but keep up the good work. Thank you so much for the Super Chat, Tomahawk. I do appreciate it. Let me just make sure that there's no more on Entropy. Reinhardt sent $5. Unblock me, you Jewish queer. So I'll unblock you. But this guy, okay, let me pull up. We have a little, and I'm working on it. We're going to make a Backlash community Telegram chat. I'm working on it. It's not going to be called that. It'll be called something else. But earlier today, we have this like little private Backlash chat that we've been using. And Reinhardt sent, hold on, where do we go? I can kind of show a little bit of this, right? And so he's like, what the fuck? You're a faggot. Why did you block me? And I texted him. I'm like, well, because I don't know, like maybe don't like superimpose me looking like a Jewish rabbi. Like maybe don't do that. How about let's not do that, and then you won't get blocked. So how about that? I don't have to if you want to super chat some abuse my way, that's fine. I love it, actually. Please, if you hate me, send me a super chat. Tell me how much you hate me. Make it a big one too, so that way I pay attention. But anyway, I'll unblock you. Okay, relax, chill, be cool. We're all on the same team here. Don't punch right. Okay, and I think that might do it. I think we did this one. Overfit Sherlock. Camille Cooper. Yes. Also got to give a big shout out to my boy, Butterboy_007. Big shout out to our Southern California contingent. I know there's a few of you down there. Thank you for watching. All right. Well, there we go. Very good. Another successful show in the bag. Gonna clock in just under 2 hours tonight. My God. Ugh. Who gave me a show? Why would they do this? I think that does it. I think that meets all of our contractual obligations. Make sure that you please like the video, Share the video with your friends and family. Get involved locally. Get involved locally. Figure out how child tax credits work. Have kids. Have lots of kids. Build fraternal networks. Reweave social fabric. That's the big thing. And we're going to be talking a lot more about that as time goes on. Also, I know that this is happening at the very end of the show, and the amount of people that this will reach is like next to none, but it's okay. If you have ever emailed the Idaho, if you have ever emailed the Backlash, and if you have ever signed up for one of our forms, our contact form on the website, you should have received an invitation to a private event happening this Friday evening here in North Idaho. And so if you did receive that, please RSVP. We'd love to have you come out. We'll be sending the location on Thursday. It would be great to see you. Going to be a great night for networking and meeting other people of like mind in the area. And that's all that I can really say about that. But that will be happening this Friday evening. So keep an eye out for that. And to all the people that bought tickets for our event that we're doing on Saturday, thank you. Looking forward to meeting all of you. It's going to be a good time. And we'll, of course, have some updates posted on that. What else is going on? This coming Monday, we are going to be talking with an author. My brain, dude. This is too much to keep in one person's brain at all times. Carl Dahl. We will be talking with Carl Dahl on Monday. If you haven't followed him on X already, you should. He is at Caudillo Dahl. He is an author, a historian. He's been doing translations. He's written a couple of amazing books. Let's see. Do the books pop up here? No. Maybe on Amazon. He's written 2 amazing books. I'm in the middle of reading this one right now called Faction with the Crusaders. It's a great book it's a fictional book about the Spanish Civil War. So we're going to be talking with him on Monday. And then there is like a very slight possibility that I might actually be going to New York City. And if that is the case, I will probably make some content for you out there with our friends Benny and Basil. God knows. So say a prayer. It will be a very interesting month, but we've got a lot more content and a lot more interviews lined up for you. So thank you for sticking with us. Thank you for sticking with us. Thank you for watching the show. Here's to many more. We're going to be around. So God bless. Thank you all. Have a great night and have a good weekend and have a miserable Lent. Bye-bye.